Hi everyone on YouTube and Facebook. This is the Moral Reform Chronicles, and today's video is division or peace. Now, in our society today, we are dealing with many issues. We are divided more than probably any time that we've ever been in. At least it seems that way. I will say this. One of the things that comes up all too often in our time is racism. We also say a lot, there's not enough accountability, of which the second one is true. There is racism today, but how much? That's the deep and tough question we must answer honestly. And I would like for us to go into more than just the whole thing with racism, the whole thing with accountability, and also the problems within my generation, the problems within this younger generations coming up, what they see, and also people, those of you that are older, what you can do, and those of you that are of my generation that want to do good, that want to do the right thing, what you can do. And yes, I would say many of you that are like me, that are millennials, you're probably not the least bit excited to be called a millennial. Because sadly, we've also had the nickname, the handout generation. I'm not excited either, but it is what it is. First of all, getting on the whole thing of racism, and again, division or peace. This is a tough subject, and it makes me sad that it has come this far with the younger generations. They're the ones yelling and screaming it out. I understand it exists. I understand it needs to be brought to an end. But as we all know, once something gets started, it's hard to stop it. My friends and people, we hear on TV all the time racism. Somebody shot somebody. Something has happened that's bad, evil. Somebody got raped. Somebody called someone the N-word, or somebody called someone a cracker, or blah blah blah. There's always something negative going on in the world. You, just as much as I, want it to stop. You want it to be brought to an end. But we have a problem here, not just with racism. Even our own political views divide us. This is not something that we should just let keep going. There was a time in our history where you could actually have a decent conversation with someone of different views and you agreed to disagree. That doesn't mean that you compromise your views. That does not mean that you also give in to something of somebody else's thoughts. It doesn't mean you change. It just means you agree to disagree. Political views or not, we must decide, do we want division or do we want peace? Is it real enough for you that we are already so divided as a people? We can't even talk about anything religious. We can't even talk about anything political. It's sad. And when someone says something in all honesty, like for an example, the political people on the left and then even those on the right, which is saddening and a disgrace. They're supposed to represent this country. One of the things that greatly saddens me, that I can't stand, and I'm about to name off some political people of two different sides. One white, the other one black. And I don't mean this in the wrong way at all. But it's something I notice that breaks my heart continually. And once you hear me out, what I'm about to say, I think you will also be saddened by this. But I won't be going into that until like the next little bit. today, people? Is it wrong to even be honest? What our race is? Is it wrong to say that I'm white? Is it wrong to tell my friend to have a conversation about race and cultures and things when my friend could be black, could be, you know, also there's like different, they call like people of different races like this call color thing, that yet they could be just as white can be, or they could be as tan could be, or olive color of olive, or whatever kind of color, you know. Is it wrong? Is it wrong to say that someone who's Arab, you know, say those Arabs over there, or anything? Is it wrong? Is it bad? Is it really evil? So if I say to someone like, you know, like I'm raised in the South, and I'm not racist. Actually, you want to know something funny? Most of my friends, my real friends, at least I would say a majority of them, are black people. And I say that. Yes, I will say black people. They know they're black. It's no big deal. When I was growing up, I didn't have very many friends. And actually, when it come to it, my own race, the white people, are not there for me. What do you got to say about that? Get all mad and upset and whatever else? Goodness gracious, people. Those of you that complain. I could tell you, when I was going through a hard time, I could tell you this. I'm not going to give away the last name of this person I'm about to bring up. But this lady is old enough to be my grandmother. She is a very wonderful, very sweet black lady. And I love this person with all my heart. She's one of the sweetest people I know. Her name is Myrtle. She probably wouldn't like it that I mentioned her name. But I want to tell you, when I was going through a hard time in my life, with my immediate family, I'm not going to say who or what, just immediate family, because I don't want anybody going to search them up on Facebook or anything. You know, I'm not going to say who or what either, because again, I don't want you looking them up. But my thing is this. When it all boils down to it, when I was going through a hard time with a couple of people in my immediate family, I had times I couldn't hold it in. I had to go to somebody. I needed to cry. Who was there for me? This sweet black lady. Also, when I was in high school, the people that I loved being around were the blacks. Why, you ask? Because they were loving. They were kind. That kindness and that special thing about them got passed on from their families to them, who also experienced hardship. I'm sorry if that offends you. I take that back. No, I'm not sorry. Those people are amazing. Now, everybody has good and bad. Doesn't matter what race. There's good and bad in every race. But is it wrong to just having a casual conversation, just trying to make sense of things, when you're going to be talking about a certain group of people, whatever the race is, or whatever the country they come from? You're not going to say, oh, those people from there, from, you know, that this part of the country, you can't even name it off, or whatever, or even say, or not even name off the race thereof, or, you know, it doesn't matter. White, black, Mexican, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, people. You are what you are. You were born from that family or from that country. You are that. Is it that bad that you have to get upset because of what you are? You're letting the political news and the media destroy not just you and your families, but those around you, because you dare to even give thought to their nonsense, the political correctness. We can all agree. We are all people. We are all people. It doesn't have to be a problem because of the race you come from. Come on. For an example, in the next little bit, I'm gonna go on to something else. You know, fathers, mothers, parents, siblings. I call you out. How many of you dads keep putting off the thing when you tell yourself or your wife, or you're telling your friends whatever, I'm going to train my children someday to do better. And if someone asks you, when will that be? You may be one of those dads that says, or moms that says, well, not right now. It's not the best time. Bull. With that, that's an excuse to not do the right thing that you know deep inside you need to do. You are lazy. You may be offended by this, but you are. You may work, whatever, that's good. If you do. But to those who dare not teach their children the right message while their children are young, we are divided now. Just imagine when our children grow up and they remember how we disagreed and got mad at somebody just because they thought differently. Do you realize how much worse it's going to get if we continue this and not do something about it? And yet you wonder. You look at everything. We are no different than those on TV. We are not doing any better. And our children growing up in the society are going to be worse if we don't get a hand on it now. We need to do something about it now, not wait. Waiting is an excuse. And actually, in a little bit, since I don't need to leave this topic for very long, I don't need to go on to the next one until a little bit later. I'm going to go into showing you some movies that are based on history and things that have happened during the 1960s and 70s. These movies are very close to my heart because of the story of these people and the heartache they endured, which was real racism. Today, the word racism today is thrown around. You can use it to even sue somebody for just the person from a different country that's just someone. I'm not saying all, but people that are lazy, truly lazy. I know some people right now that are hard workers from different countries. I mean, wow, hard workers. They make people from our country look bad. I'm thinking, like, if I can recall, there's one guy I know. I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not sure if he's from Pakistan or Iraq or whatever. Hard worker. Awesome guy. Very friendly. And he's one of those peaceful, friendly Muslims. I can tell you this right now. That guy's awesome. Very kind. Very caring. He asks me all the time how I'm doing. He's just an awesome, nice guy. And you know what? There's some people from his country, not all of them, just a few here and there. But we have them here in this country too, of every race. You know? There's one person, I'm not going to say no names, but since they've been gotten onto about them actually being very slow, I kid you not. That person is what I heard, and I don't know what to think about this, has called the race card that she would sue. What? What in the world? It makes no sense. You can just use the race card anytime you want and get away with being lazy? That's wrong, people. That's not racism. It's called you just want an excuse to get some money and not work hard for it. Like a person of character. Doing something with your life. Why do we tolerate this? It's sad. I'm going to show you a movie right now that I like. And I have several here actually. This one, I know it's backwards. Forgive me. It's called, as you can see, The Rosa Parks Story. The story of the woman who stood up by sitting down. She wasn't mad at the white people. She was upset or mad or disappointed, whatever you want to call it, with the prejudice from the white people. She didn't hold all that anger in and get mad at white folks forever. She eventually turned out to be one of the finest women in history, but she went through a lot because of the racist white folks, the racist white man who couldn't take it that a black person is just as equal as they are. This story, this is one here called Blood Done, Sign My Name. It is not out there everywhere, but it's a story that is worth watching. And it's very emotional. And in this movie, this guy, the part he plays shows white people, a white family, standing up for what's right. And even though a whole church stood against what he was talking about, and yet they claim to be Christians. The worst move. You are making the God you say you love and serve look very bad and look racist. God is not. He created all man. What I love about this story is it's whites. A few white people came together for a black community and black people to show people racism is bad and must not be tolerated. Thank you, God. There were white people way back who felt the same as me and you do today. That it is wrong. Then there's this one. The Vernon Johns story. This is pretty much the man before Martin Luther King Jr., who started something big. He's not as known as Martin Luther King Jr., but this is pre-Martin Luther King Jr. And as you see in this movie, this is the cover. But I can tell you, it's a story like no other. When you watch it, it's mind-boggling at the honesty of the movie. And it even says here, before Malcolm X, before Martin Luther King, he took the first step on the long road to freedom. Thank God. Even though he was a man that put things right in your face, he still did it. Now this next one you may find a little strange. Sidney Poitier, a man who's still alive actually. This is a movie, To Serve with Love. And it's definitely a product of its time, where it talks about, it has stuff of racism in it, but he decided to go for this movie because this is a movie, like some of his other stuff, that was made to make a difference and an impact on the culture around us, and everything else. And then the next one that he stars in says, They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. Great movie. Not as good as its part one. It's still, pretty good. But anyways, when you're a black cop in a time where white people didn't like that, and black people too that didn't like justice back then, some of them, I don't know how many, but this is one of those movies that's great for just clear. It doesn't matter how white you are, it doesn't matter how black you are. You can do great things if you set out to do them. And even though it's not an inspiring story, still, it's made in a time. Again, it's a product of it. Of a man in a movie, and he didn't have it easy. He may have been maybe a black man, but he didn't have it easy, as you would think. He got death threats, he got things, but that was all talk. Man's still alive today. Now this one, it's just based off a book, but it's a movie that did something different. To Kill a Mockingbird. And then there's nothing about a mockingbird in it, not an actual bird anyways. But in the movie itself, the lawyer does take a stand and stand up for a black man. Which in that day and the time it was made in 1962. It's a bit of a tough time to be making a movie like that. And wow. Wow. And it's great. It has a message in it I believe we could all watch and learn from. And there's this one, another Sidney Poitier. You're finding out I'm a fan. In this movie, it crossed the line big time. He's the only black cop or whatever you want to call it in town. I can't think of what he is now. I forget it. I believe I got that wrong, but he's the only man in town he's just going out of his own town to go somewhere else. He's just traveling through, and well, some white people don't like him. They try to put him in jail, and they find out actually he's important. He's a man of importance. And in this movie, Sidney Poitier's character, when he is slapped across the face from a racist old white man, he hits him right back and lets him know, you don't do that to me. And I can keep going on about Sidney Poitier, but here's the next movie. And this is a newer one. I just got this today. Hidden Figures. Story of some black ladies in a time where they were not allowed to get known very much. At least from my understanding. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know. And made an impact. During the time when NASA was sending people to the moon. Well, I want to continue on to the next thing. So, I just want to say, people, we must hold each other accountable. Accountability is not 100% gone. It feels like it a lot of days. But if you really want it to come back, hold your children accountable for their actions. Hold your family members accountable for their actions. But come up with a plan that works. Not just anything, but something that works. And let me tell you, in your time and in your life, you're going to wish you did something. Whether you believe it now or not, you're going to wish you did something for your family while they were still young. It is time. Now is the time. It has also been past time that we did something. Enough with this arguing and bickering and fighting. We must stand up again. Not just against this whole racism thing where it gets stupid, and not just against the evil part of it. Both, in fact. Also, keep even our political parties accountable. Both Democrat and Republican, both. 2. I'm not even naming off numbers, sorry. But my again, getting back to this, it is not wrong for a person to be religious when it comes to talking about God and life, and even people of other religions. If other religions can talk about something, why can't those of Christianity? Why is it wrong? If you can let other people do their thing of different religions, why are the Christians held back? Why are conservatives held back? If you are to silence them, why don't you silence the others? That's the sad part of this whole thing. You would rather people that support this would rather have these other voices silent, but little do they know they are killing off free speech. We have enough and a lot of freedom to begin with, but we are slowly losing it because we have decided we don't care about it because we have it all so well, but we're willing to complain about it. And yet, we wonder why society and families and everything is being torn apart, right down the middle and down to the core. We ask these questions, but yet we do nothing about it. We want some big hero to come along and do something, but yet we ourselves don't want to be the heroes. We have become, sadly, cowards. And cowards we will be until we have finally got some guts and some muscle and become real men and real women to finally stand up against this political machine. Yes, you heard me say a news media word that you hear on there off and on. I will tell you this. I know a very sweet couple that comes into the place where I work. They are a sweet, amazing couple. They are vendors, actually, especially the lady's husband. Amazing couple. I love them to death. They are so amazing. Couldn't ask for a better, sweeter couple, honestly. They're Democrat. Democrat. And I am Republican conservative. You know what? For a while there, she didn't know what to think of me. But as she got to know me and got to talking with me, and then we got to talking, me and her husband, we found out we actually are on the same level. We're on the same level when it comes to the things we believe strongly in. Maybe not Christianity. Like, I'm probably the stronger on the view of that than they are, but hey, it's okay. As long as we have our morals, our convictions on things. Now, I'm not sure where they stand on stuff, but I know this. We agree a lot on a lot of things. Once I showed her and her husband it's okay to agree to disagree, and they got to see they didn't have to change, they loved it. And now we actually have awesome conversations, and it goes great. Because why? We didn't try to change each other. We didn't get mad because someone had a different opinion. We just understood there is value in deep conversations, and you can still have those while you disagree with your friend or person across the street or your neighbor, agreeing or disagreeing. It's all good, and also you'll learn a few things. There's nothing better. And if you're wondering about if I had other movies in here, but I could tell you my other ones I wasn't gonna look for, but they're about things that are special and dear to my heart. But I want to say this to you. Do you want division? I say shame on you. Yes, shame on you if you're not willing to come and be at peace with all men, with all women, with all people, no matter what race, no matter what political views, no matter what religion. And if they want to cause problems with you, just walk away. Don't continue the problem. Do something about this. Love unconditionally. Help people out, no matter what their race, no matter what their culture, no matter what their religion, no matter what their political thinking is or political view. You and I can make this difference. And it all begins with you and me. And I believe strongly in this. You don't have to. But I'm going to fight for this to the very day that I grow old and die, or if I die from something. I'm going to fight for this dream, and I will fight for the little man for as long as I live. And I'll make sure somebody knows, somebody cares about them. And I want you to know, if we don't do something now, we cannot change the past, but we can change the future. And if you really believe in something better than beyond yourself, please get past being selfish. Please get past getting upset because of somebody not thinking like you. Only babies think like that. Real men and real women are fine with disagreeing. You could still go vote Democrat. You could still go vote Republican. No one's telling you or making you try to change anything. It's your life. You do what you want. But in the end, I will say this. I will be the one who's going to stand up and do what I said a little bit ago. And it is my hope and prayer that you will take deep thought into this. But if you don't, I understand. Nobody likes to change. Nobody wants to change. And I fully understand that. There are some changes that must be, there are other changes that don't have to be. But I do hope you will consider what I am talking about in this video. Have a great day, everyone. And remember this. Whether you don't have to agree with me or believe this, but I want you to know. God loves you, and you're special to Him. Please come to know Him and know that you are dear to His heart. And He loves you even when you don't feel loved or even when you don't feel you're worth being loved. He loves you. Have a great night, everyone. I know I didn't touch on a whole lot on this video, but I do hope you got something from it. Please share, like, and subscribe to this channel, The Moral Reform Chronicles, if you enjoy what you get here. Thank you very much, and God bless.